Our topic now is David Taylor, world champion. You know, big thing about David Taylor is he was never looking to win close matches. He was always looking to blow the guy away. And that's something we talk about. You hear a lot of coaches telling their athletes in certain matches, hey, we need bonus points, or hey, we need 6. And a lot of times we found that's one of the biggest ways you could create pressure and have one of your athletes mess up. I've had it before matches, a coach tell me right before I go out there, we need bonus points. I remember in college, there was a guy I was going to go up against. I was wrestling at Rutgers, going against Brown. Coach tells me, hey, Zanetti, we need bonus points. You know, the few guys lost before me. Looked like the dual meet was in danger. Tells me, Zanetti, we need bonus points. And I remember right before the match thinking like, man, I just got to win this match. This guy's really good. Number one, I'm at fault for focusing on winning. Number two, I'm at fault for not having mentally prepared for that scenario. If the coach should tell me that, what I'm going to tell myself in that moment. So those are all types of things that we would work on with our athletes with winning mindset. But David Taylor, the World Championships, he's always looking to score points. And when you're always looking to score a lot of points, you never have to think about pinning. You never have to think about getting bonus points because it's going to happen. If you're always looking to score, you're going to collect bonus points. It's just got to be an attitude. And that's exactly why he wins in the World Championships by tech fall. That's also why in the World Championships, going up against some of the best people in the world, he's able to come back from a deficit because he's used to scoring points. If you get in the habit of just holding on to leads, as you get against better and better competition, sometimes you're going to find yourself in a hole. You're going to search your memory bank, and there's going to be nothing there. You're not going to be able to remember times where you were able to score a lot of points because you never throttled down like that. You never made it a habit to constantly keep scoring. So that's exactly what David Taylor did, and that's a big reason why he's a world champion right now. I remember hearing something about David Taylor when he was a schoolboy or something like that. He was winning 9-0 in Fargo. Don't quote me on these specifics, but just get the lesson that we're trying to grasp here, or that we're trying to put out here. So whatever it was, he was a schoolboy or cadet, something like that. He was winning 9-0 in the finals, stayed aggressive, wound up getting taken down or pinned or teched or something like that. Then he said he was crying in the hallway. And then a coach came up to him and said to him, never let that match stop you from being aggressive. And I think I remember seeing it in the Magic Man special when Flow Wrestling put that out about him. He said that was something that really stuck out in his mind, that a coach telling him, never let losing like that keep you from being aggressive. Because for most wrestlers, the coaches and the parents tell them the opposite. Oh, you were winning. There was no reason to be aggressive. There was no reason to take another chance. And I get it. Look, we're not looking to do something stupid when we have a lead, but we should continue to press the pace. Continue to wrestle the way you've been wrestling. Don't go crazy. Don't take shots out of left field. Don't all of a sudden go for a hero throw if it's not open. But continue to wrestle your way. We see this in football all the time. The prevent defense. I hate it. Unless it's like one of the last plays, unless it's one of the 2 last plays of the game, there's no reason to go into a prevent. To me, I'm more along the phrase of the prevent defense prevents you from winning. I remember seeing an ESPN special about this. They were talking about, I think, biggest myths in football, or biggest myths in sports, and they were talking about this. The prevent defense doesn't prevent you from winning. And I remember some defensive players, professional defensive players, they said they hated that defense because all of a sudden you start to see the other team, the team that's losing, winds up moving the ball down the field rather quickly because the defense has changed. And the defensive player said on ESPN, that's the whole point of defense. We're preventing. Why are we going to change our defense? Right? I mean, what's the point of defense? The defense is to prevent. So why are we going to change our defense? So it's the same thing with wrestling. We have a lead. We start changing our strategy. I remember having a guy on one of my teams. He was back in college. He was around to 12 2 or 3 times. And it was very hard to take him down in the first period. Almost no one took him down in the first period. And then a very good defense, in particular when people would get in on his right leg, his lead leg. Then there was 3 matches I could think of where he was winning by a point with under a minute left, and all 3 of those times he got taken down. And me and my teammates were like, how can this be possible? No one ever takes him down on that leg. He was in great shape. He wasn't gassing out. The difference was he stopped moving forward. He was always a smash mouth, not trash talking, I'm saying smash mouth, like hardcore, in-your-face wrestler with his sweep single or inside reach high crotch. And then then he would get to those matches, or then he would get into those situations up by a point. He changes the way he wrestles. He gets taken down. Why? Change in the mindset. Now we're just thinking about winning. We're thinking about closing out a match. We saw this many times in the World Championships this past week and in past international competition, especially with that last point wins rule, guys changing their strategy towards the end of the match. I get it. You do need to have a little bit of a strategy, but don't change completely. If you're normally an offensive wrestler, stay on the offense. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to take shots from left field, but do what you do best. That's what David Taylor did. That's why he's a world champion. A few years ago when Logan Stieber was a world champion, it was the same kind of thing. He was scoring at the end of periods. He was putting up numbers because he was always looking to score. So make that your attitude, which means you're going to have to think about the sport of wrestling or any sport that you're in differently than a lot of your friends, a lot of your teammates, and even a lot of your coaches who are telling you to protect the lead. Again, I'm not saying doing anything stupid. I've gotten into debates with coaches, heated debates with coaches with this many times, because they're like, we don't want our guys taking shots with 30 seconds left. My point is I've seen more guys blow leads by not shooting than guys blowing it at the end because they were too aggressive. So making sure we stay on the offense, it's a way of life, and just wrestling the way you normally wrestle. David Taylor always did that. He was always someone who looked to score. That's why he's able to blow someone out in a huge match, the World Championships, and that's also why he's able to come back from a big deficit because he's used to putting points on the board. When he searches his memory bank, if he's down by 5 points, he could think of many times he scored 5 points in a short amount of time. Many. But if you don't get in the habit of that, even if you're dominating people now, eventually you're going to get to a level where people who are just as good as you and you're not able to get to the leg. Look at the top wrestlers. When they need to, they can get to the leg. And it's only going to happen by a product of making sure you're consistently always looking to score, staying on the offense. Regardless of how much time is left on the clock, wrestle the same way. And remember, mindset makes the difference.